When you work in the cleaning industry, it's probably fair to say that you have a critical eye about all things clean. When you travel, when you stay in a hotel, when you visit a restaurant, go into a public restroom, you probably are a little critical about what you see and you might voice your concerns. What about those who manage facilities and they might not really know the condition of their facility, and what they can do about it? Well, today we're going to dig into that issue. I'm pleased to welcome Derek Oliveira, the Global Consulting Manager for ISSA, fellow colleague. Derek, thanks for joining us.
Hey, my pleasure, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
I know you're somewhat new to ISSA. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your past that sets you up as a consulting expert.
So yeah, Jeff. So I joined ISSA in 2023. Before that, I was a consultant for one of Canada's largest consulting firms, and I've been in the cleaning industry in one way or another for 28 years. So started as a frontline employee and climbed the ranks, as they say. And today I'm lucky to call myself the global consulting manager for ISSA.
It's interesting when we think about the work we do, Derek. You're a consulting manager for ISSA. You're helping companies, facilities to create a better space. Yet when we travel, we might be maybe a little pickier than others when we see things that are suspect. Would you agree with that?
I definitely would agree with that.
So let's talk about that because I understand you were on a work trip recently and your hotel stay could have been a little bit better than it turned out. And you have some pictures to share with us. Can you just discuss what you saw, what you experienced, and describe that in the pictures we'll show on screen?
Sure. So this is an interesting case because I've stayed in this hotel now twice, with a calendar year apart each visit, and the same thing happened to me on my stay. Right, different rooms, but the same thing happened to me. It's disappointing to see that even high-end facilities don't understand sometimes the importance of cleaning. Um, when I entered my room was disgusting. I barely had time to put down my luggage, and I was at the front desk speaking with the manager. So, the condition that my room was in was very telling. And what it told me was that the scope of work was inadequate. It told me that the quality assurance program is inadequate. Inspections were probably not being conducted because the pictures clearly indicate, and we'll see them soon, that this was a heavy accumulation and not something that had been forgotten over a couple of days. So we had a vent. So the vent was caked in dust, and obviously you can tell that by the amount of dust on the vent, it wasn't something that had been forgotten, for a week or two. I had black mold in my shower. So on the shower tracks where the door meets kind of the frame of the shower, that was also filled with black mold. It was awful. I would have never have showered in there. We had the shower head, which was full of calcium. I'm sure if I had turned on the water, there was no water that would have came out of that shower. It was so caked in. And there was a lot of hard waters and soap scum around the faucets in the sinks and stuff like that. And that was just, I walked in and that's the first thing I walked into was the bathroom because, as a consultant and, being in charge of doing so many quality assurance inspections, my eyes kind of trained to look at these things, but like it didn't take very long for me to see that these things were not normal, what I was seeing in my hotel room.
So, Derek, when you went to the front desk, obviously they gave you another room.
They did. They gave me another room with an upgrade as well, and they gave me some free vouchers.
How'd you feel about that?
I don't know how I felt about that. I feel like they could have done a little bit more, and I'm not even talking about like giving me stuff. I would have wanted them to have them ask what my feedback was, like why was it like this? Like what can we do, to maybe change some things? Because I did sit and speak with the manager. I wasn't just talking with the person at the front desk, and I felt like they trying to kind of swept it under the rug quickly.
So often when we have an issue as consumers, because that's what you were on a business trip, but you're still a customer, a client of that hotel. We just want what we should get, a clean room, a good space, not extras to make up for that. And it seems like if they were to get in front of the issues, then this whole conversation wouldn't happen. But let's talk about what needed to happen in advance of you staying there. So, talk about training and what a staff needs to do or leadership of that staff to make sure what you experience never happens again.
Yeah, so obviously training plays a big role in what they'll be able to deliver in terms of cleanliness for their facilities. But like many facilities, the devil's in the details. I'm sure the staff has been trained on the essentials like bed making, vacuuming, dusting. But again, the devil's in the details. What about the deep cleaning of the grout in the showers? Removing the calcium or the hard water buildup. The shower heads that we saw, the faucets. Do they have a quality assurance program? How often are they conducting inspections? These are all things that are going to play a key role in them delivering quality service, right? Again, who's conducting these inspections? Is it executive? Do they have a third party that comes in and conducts these inspections? And from what I've seen when I'm traveling, and I have to say most of these facilities are lacking it when it comes to those elements, is a solid quality assurance program. We can't expect staff to clean what they haven't been trained to clean. And I believe that with a good scope of work that they're being trained on is insufficient to keep a hotel clean in the long run.
So when you have those conversations with clients or those you're dealing with your consulting, the issue of money has to come up. Their budgets, lack of budget, lack of funds to do what you just described. What do you do with that? How do you address that?
So I'll give you an example. So we have a lot of educational facilities that reach out and they want help, right? They want help whether it's with workloading, it's our operations aren't good, we don't have proper scope of work, our procedures aren't where they should be. What we like to do is we like to come on site and conduct what we call a 360-degree assessment. So basically, we have clients call and they're telling us that my employees aren't trained. But what we see is when we get on site, that's not the biggest of their problems, right? Training could be part of it, but like you said, Jeff, there's always budget restrictions and constrictions. And I believe that when we get on site, we can better, inform them of what they should be putting their money into to have an impact on their operations, a proper impact on their operations.
So Derek, when you visit these facilities, these clients, and you're there to help them, what are they missing when it comes to the benchmarks and standards that they should follow? They're aware of them, aren't they? But talk about that.
So we regularly see that when we come on site, and sometimes it's intentional, but often it's because they don't have the tools or resources to meet the standard that they're looking for. We have a program here at ISSA called SIMS, right? SIMS is a great example of a program that helps organizations meet and elevate the standard, whether they have a BSC, which is a building service contractor, or an in-house janitorial organization. You know, I've been with ISSA now for a little bit over a year, but I've been involved with ISSA since 2017. And I believe that education is the best tool. And as an association, that's what ISSA strives for, to educate our industry and let them know that we have the tools to help you be successful. So, knock on our door, we can help.